Weekend, Shedeur Sanders didn't let his draft slide affect his fun, though. After getting selected in the 5th round by the Browns, Shedeur brought his Louis to Hyde Lounge in Dallas. Celebrated with Kodak Black, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. We're also in attendance. I'll say this, Dan Graziano and Jason McCourty. My man Shedeur knows how to have some fun. Who cares where he's been drafted? And we saw that over the weekend. Dan, you and I were on Get Up all last week, and we were talking about this. We didn't know what the drama would unfold like after we left on Friday morning. Here we are on Monday. What are the reasons? What have you heard of the reasons behind Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th?
There are some reasons. There are some theories. It's a big combination. Excuse me, I have hiccups. A big combination of things that caused Shedeur Sanders to slide from where we thought he might go all the way to the 5th round. So, number one, teams did not view him as an elite prospect. I think other than Cam Ward, there really weren't any quarterbacks in this year's draft that teams did view as an elite prospect. So you have to do something to separate yourself. Now, he had some very positive meetings with teams. He had some that didn't go so well. And I think there was a sense of, is Deion trying to control this situation? Are they trying to steer away from certain teams towards some teams? I think there was a feeling that, given what comes with him, if we're not sure he's going to be more than a backup for us, then we're not sure we want to take him because we don't want a circus following our backup around. And Matt, I think it just really kind of snowballed throughout the 3 days to the point where, teams that had even been thinking about taking him had moved past it.
Graz, some might say that Shedeur had a hiccup in the pre-draft process.
It's not funny. It's a serious affliction. It causes problems.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of serious afflictions going around, especially in Cleveland with what they're going to do at quarterback. Yeah. So how do you believe, we were just talking about during the break, how do you feel about his fit in Cleveland?
I mean, he slides to the 5th round, but it's like at the same time, this might have been the best situation for him because he goes to Cleveland, who doesn't have a surefire starter at the quarterback position. There's going to be 4 guys, including Dylan Gabriel, who he was drafted with, Kenny Pickett, and then Joe Flacco. Shedeur Sanders can walk into Berea, Ohio, and walk out of there as the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. In year 1, you have to believe he'll get a chance to compete with those guys. So although draft day was one that won't be remembered in the sense of sliding down, he got to party after, you get your name called, and he gets to learn under Kevin Stefanski and a chance to earn that spot.
We've seen this numerous places. The most famous one obviously being Tom Brady, but most recently Dak Prescott. He was a 4th-round draft pick. It doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters that you get drafted.
The fact that you get your name called on draft day and you get to live out a dream and have your family celebrate and do everything that Shedeur Sanders was able to do was fantastic. There were so many guys that didn't get their name called this past weekend that signed to teams that are going in with the mindset to make a football team. He's going to have to do the same, improve all the doubters and naysayers wrong. It's actually a good way to start off, a chip on your shoulder.
Gross, speaking of Sanders, he was one of the few prospects who got prank calls while waiting to get drafted. This is just kind of an unfortunate, bizarre story. How is the league responding to this?
Well, they're looking into it because what happened is he got a special phone just for draft day and gave that number to the NFL so the NFL could disseminate it to teams. And it's not supposed to leak out, obviously, and it did. And we find out that it's the son of the defensive coordinator of the Falcons that saw it on his dad's iPad or whatever and decided to write it down and make a prank call. So they figured that one out. But other guys got prank called. It has happened in years past. It's obviously a terrible and stupid thing to do to somebody, but we live in terrible and stupid times, and so these things are going to happen. I think Shedeur Sanders' case that the league will look into, are there ways to tighten this up, to limit the number of people that have access to the phone number? And I think the Atlanta Falcons have said they're doing the same thing.
We're talking about prank calls. Like, what were the Jerky Boys back in the day? Like, what are we doing? McCourty,
yes, it is a segment that everybody loves, that Harry Douglas does on Get Up. But we're going to spin it forward for That Boy Will Be Bad with our Harry Douglas. Okay, so Harry, we know that the NFL draft is wrapped. Give us your prediction for the rookies that you think will be bad at the next level.
So, Christine, there's no better way to start than with the Atlanta Falcons and the 2 guys that they took in the 1st round in the draft who happen to be pass rushers. We're talking about Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. Now, both guys do a great job of displaying speed, power, explosiveness, and when they arrive at the quarterback, it's with bad intentions. You look at the Atlanta Falcons through the last 4 years, 31st, and 32nd sacking the quarterback, but that is no longer. Why? because those boys will be bad. Now, next on the list, we're going to go to tight end for the Chicago Bears, Colston Loveland, who was picked 10th overall. You talk about a savvy route runner, a guy that does a great job of catching the football away from his body with his hands, and we know he played at Michigan, so he has this sense of toughness. So when it comes to the run game and also changing the culture in Chicago, he's going to do a phenomenal job. Mr. Loveland, that boy will be bad. And last but not least, and let's just say we saved the best for last, Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders. I had him rated number 2 on my list as the second best quarterback in this draft. He was the 6th quarterback taken. That's right, 5 guys taken before him. But we all know patience is a virtue. We also know this. Sometimes gotta hit pause for a cause. Shedeur Sanders, that boy will be bad.
I cannot wait to see what he does at the next level. I feel like he's now ready to actually perform at a higher level than I think a lot of people expected him to. HD, I'm not at all surprised that your first one was the Falcons, though, by the way. We see that over your right shoulder. Thank you.
Third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers. For the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, how good was that? That was one of the best moments from the NFL draft. We say hello to the man now from that moment, Packers wide receiver Matthew Golden. He joined us on behalf of Tide for their Laundry Day NFL Draft activation. First of all, Matthew, congratulations. I know you loved looking back at that. What have the past few days been like for you and your family?
Man, it's been a blessing. Still trying to take it all in. We all excited for the opportunity that's in front of me. I work so hard to get here. So, we definitely excited.
When the NFL decided to move the draft from New York City and bounce it around to different NFL locations, they had that moment in mind right there when the home team gets to draft their player. Can you describe that energy when you heard your name called, walking through that tunnel, waving that green and gold in front of their fans?
Yeah, man, it was truly remarkable. It's a feeling I can't even explain. Just being out there, listening to the crowd and then walking the stage, man, it was something I dreamed of doing since I was younger. So being able to do it, it was definitely cool for me.
So your suit, it was very eye-catching. We asked you about your chain. You said it's downstairs. Can you tell me more about the motivation of the suit?
Yeah, the motivation of the suit, my last name is Golden. So, I wanted to do something that represented that. And the dude that made it, I just told him I wanted some gold designs on it. So he custom made it for me. He did a great job with it. So props to my guy, Ethan, for, making me look good on TV.
Yeah, let me say this, Matthew. Ethan actually nailed the assignment, which was make my suit golden. He did just that, and everyone watching the draft got to see it. On the football side of things, what does it mean to you to be a Green Bay Packer?
It means everything to me. I feel like everything, the way it was set up, God put me in this position for a reason. At the draft, I was just anxious to get my name called. I was just waiting. And, I feel like it happened at the right time.